Yeah, we're not actually live. Well, we are. We're technically on stream, but we're not public yet, so they will be able to watch this back afterwards. But
Yeah.
they can't hear us at the moment, so whatever we say now is kind of on record, but they can't hear it at this moment. If that makes sense, because it's not public at the moment, but it will be there to play back.
Sounds good.
Where's the Ferrari? Where's the Red Bull?
Felix, you sound so different now. So different.
2 years.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
Yeah, 2 years. No, 1 year. Something like that.
You still had your high-pitched voice the last time I spoke to you.
Yeah. But it feels good to be back though, because it's also been very stressful to do this league. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just been carnage, really. You know, there's no other word for it.
It's great when people actually came together, like, willing to get this show on the road again.
Yes.
It's a shame to see it. It was a shame to see it go, because it was a really good league, just as like a pastime, and just starting to do it on a Friday evening, and it was just such a sad thing to see it go. And now it's back.
Yeah.
Everyone's done a great job.
Well, yeah, the numbers aren't great. It's
Yeah,
a bit,
not particularly.
bit annoying.
Yeah, that difference of last times is...
That's outrageous. 4
Wasn't it 1.5 or 4?
I did statistics today. My brain isn't really working.
Yeah, I had a math test, so... Yeah, 1.415. Yeah, so we know who's going to win this race, unless he
Yeah.
spins.
Yeah, good.
If GGJ doesn't win this race, I think something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. Something's just
Unless he has an absolute mare.
Yeah.
been really consistent this season.
He has been consistent the whole... his whole career in
Yeah, pretty
Motive.
much. He's a very good racer.
So we're missing Vincent, Bennett, and Dennis Becky.
Dems Becky and Bennett has just quit.
Like the three guys who would have challenged him, but not here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised Deb's making left, to be honest. After what happened to Spain.
I think it's him and GGJ were having so many like spats. Literally, they were just at each other's throat every single week. It just was never going to be the same between them ever again.
Ooh, rain.
Oh wow! Shock! It's England.
Shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a virtual game. Like, grow up a little bit.
Yeah, just calm down.
A rivalry on a virtual game. No. It's on a Friday evening. So. Loving all the pit crew doing the T-pose.
Well, I don't actually know. They'll never take it to DMs either.
Yeah, exactly.
They always fight in the shadows.
It's retention.
I've spoken to Senna and he said some interesting things.
Oh, good. I wonder what those are.
Yeah, he's talking about how they're like saying his shit and everything when they were in the party. And then that him and GDJ has a history.
But that's definitely not true. You can see that.
Probably shouldn't talk about this stuff. It's going to be heard after.
Yeah.
I mean, I will cut it out, but it will be. They'll be able to watch this probably for a day, and then I'll be cutting it out sort of tomorrow. And then, but the edit doesn't do immediately, so it will take probably about a few hours for the edit to take effect, and then after a certain point, it will just be the grid as they're forming up on the grid, and then that'll be the start. Right, I'm gonna go public now, so yeah, let's keep everything PG.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that ugly thumbnail, man. I don't want that ugly thumbnail. Get it off my screen. Oh, I don't want it, man. I don't want it. No. Sorry.
It's only a thumbnail.
It's just ugly. I just don't want it there. I just want my thumbnail, which I've designed, which I've taken time to actually make.
Yeah, I get this.
Oh, it's still there. Sorry.
Okay, GGJ first, Kristen Animate secondly, Greedy third, Muscle fourth, 3/5 totally, 6th, 7th, Mike, 8th, Andrew, 95th, 9th, Mark, 10th, Basil, 11th, Eggman, 12th, and then Polish My Balls, 13th.
Right.
Disqualification for this group, yeah.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive channel. We're about to go lights out for the sprint race here at Silverstone. Apologies for the little delay getting on, but here we go. We should be lights out in a moment. And here we go, lights out, and away we go. GGJ gets a decent start, but the Haas on the second row there, flying off the line of Little Greavy in towards Abu we go, and it's the lead there for Little Greavy. Goes a bit deep, but he gets it stopped, and beautifully done there from Little Greavy, as Mike has got ahead of Crest Anime up into P5. Not a great start from Crest Anime, down to 6th place. We can see an Aston Martin there flying up the inside, and there's a bit of debris there coming off the Red Bull. Yeah, it looks like contact between the Mutts Nuts and GGJ, and GGJ's down to 3rd place, and not a great start for him, as we can see Matty Pitts got ahead of the mark, and Andrew Pittsmith ahead of the Crest Anime, but it's Little Greavy leading down the Wellington Straight for the first time. There's the Grieve in second. So the two Hasses ahead of GGJ, but GGJ making a move into Brooklands here on the Grieve, and he makes that stick beautifully there. So GGJ back up in position after losing out to the two Hasses. But Little Greavy, I tell you what, was absolutely flying off the line. He was not hanging around for anybody there.
Yeah, it was a very solid start from Little Greavy. He went off the track a little bit there. He probably got a warning there, but honestly, nothing to write home about. As the Grieve is still on the back of GGJ there, coming through Cops for the first time. Look at all the cars there. That's a beautiful shot. As one goes off the track there, I think it might have been the Mutts Nuts. I'm not too sure. Couldn't really see there. But yeah, a very clean start. I think there was a little bit of a front wing coming off somewhere, but I'm not sure who it was. I'm sure we'll find out soon. But yeah, very good. Oh, it's the Mutts Nuts with front left end plate there. Doesn't look like he's been affected too much, but that's definitely a bit of damage for Mutts Nuts.
I'm just watching Andrew Pittsmith. He's absolutely has in the back of Mike as we come down the hanger straight in towards Stowe Corner. But yeah, Mutts Nuts might be struggling with a little bit of downforce loss at the moment with that ever so slight bit of damage. As we can see, Andrew's got ahead of Mike. Oh, what's happened? Oh, is he lost it? Yeah, he has. He's gone onto the grass there on the exit of Stowe Corner. He's going to be down to the back. So Mike on his debut here tonight, not the start to his Motive racing career that I'm sure he would have been wanting. But Little Greavy out the front is ahead of GGJ. You've got the Grieve there ahead of the Mutts Nuts. There's Andrew ahead of Crest Anime, followed by Matty Pitt in the mark. Then you've got Mr. Basil ahead of Totally 0K, followed by Eggman, and then Polish My Balls and Mike at the back. But GGJ really trying to get on with this after not the best of start to the race, obviously losing out to the two Hasses. He's ahead of one of them, but he's got work to do here to try and take the lead, but he's looking very racy here, and I'll tell you what, he's got a bit of a run here coming down towards Brooklands. Looking to the inside here on Little Greavy. Can he make the move? Little Greavy holding his ground, but Little Greavy has got a time penalty already, and we're only on lap 2 of this sprint race, so that has not gone well for him at all.
Yeah, I mean, Little Greavy with a 3-second penalty, that's not going to help at all. Because he wants to challenge for his win. You can definitely tell from this. I mean, the front two really gapped the Grieve so far by a couple of seconds. As it comes through Cops again, it's a yellow flag. I think that's Polish My Balls. Yeah, he's round. That's not good for him. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I wasn't really watching, but already it's lap 2 and he's already got a penalty. That's not ideal for Little Greave, and that's sure going to harm him later on in the race.
So we can now see Andrew Pittsmith overtaking the Mutts Nuts.
Oh, a lovely move.
That's amazing. Wow.
Brave
Right on the outside.
Do it there.
But the Mutts is trying to come back at him here. He's got to run in towards Stowe Corner. He's going to make that move up the inside, the Mutts Nuts, but he can't get the inside enough, and Andrew holds onto it, and the Mutts Nuts might lose out to Crest Anime as well here. Side by side, they're coming down towards Vale. Crest Anime on the inside, but the Mutts Nuts goes late enough on the brakes and holds it around the outside. Crest Anime gives him a bit of a tap in the rear there as they came through Vale chicane, but the Mutts Nuts still ahead of him in P5 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Matty Pitt is right on the back of his train here as well. Don't discount him because he's looking really feisty though. But Crescent Anime and Mutts Nuts and Andrew, very, very ferocious battle here, and still within contact of the leaders. So this rain has definitely brought together the field in terms of skill and pace gap. But GGJ actually has got ahead of Little Greavy, so where that was I don't know. But yeah, he's a second ahead now. That's a massive gap, and it's not too bad of a result for Haas as well. That's going to be.
And Polish My Ball spins.
again.
Yeah.
This is going to be 13 points for Haas in the.
And 3-second penalty for Mike.
Yeah, that's not ideal. But yeah, 13 points for sprint race in Haas so far, with a 2-3 at the moment. How long does it last? Because it's 3-second penalty with a little grief. I don't know.
Yeah, he's currently 2 seconds ahead of Andrew Pittsmith, so he needs to pull out another second to him to get that double podium finish, as Mr. Basil there has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So currently 3 drivers with time penalties so far. Little Greavy, Mr. Basil, now 4, because Eggman's picked up one as well as Mike. So yeah, 4 drivers with time penalties in the early stages. But polish my balls here. You were mentioning a moment ago, he had a spin there, Felix, and he's now 16 seconds off at the back of Mike. So this has been a torrid sprint race here for polish my balls so far, and he will be, I'm sure, hoping and praying that it doesn't continue. This bad luck doesn't continue for the Grand Prix itself. He'll be starting from 13th. I think that's probably the best case scenario at this point for him.
Yeah, I think Silverstone isn't the hardest track, but isn't the easiest as well, especially in Nuggets and Vegas. But being 16 seconds behind in rain isn't the best moment for a driver.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Carrying on from Felix's point though, it's a really easy track. In terms of like altitude, there's no difference in like levels of altitude or anything. It's a complete flat track, but it's just so easy to let go of the car, like a car to let go of you. You know, it can go at any second. It's so unpredictable, especially with any track in this game. Really, it has like experience.
Now Andrew Pittsmith is going to overtake Wood.
Andrew is through there up into podium places. There's not much of a short there. Andrew's looking really quick in this race.
Eggman out of the race.
Eggman's round.
Yeah, he's out of the race. He's crashed it coming out of the loop. So that's double yellow flags. Is that a safety car? It is. Yeah, I can see the yellow dot. Yeah. So that's going to spice things up a little bit now, because it's going to be a safety car until the end. I think at the end of lap 6 it's going to be. That will mean a 3-lap dash to the end. I don't think there's really much advantage to being on fresh tyres. Yeah, I don't think there's really much. There's not really much of an advantage to being on fresh tyres on the Inters. 4 or 5 laps of freshness, it's not really going to make the whole world of difference here. So I can't imagine we'll be seeing anyone dive into the pits. It's just going to be a simple case of drive round, wait for the marshals to clear the debris, and get going again here. So yeah, no real dramas.
2 drive-through penalties.
Yeah, that's what
he does. That's
yeah, I mean, it definitely has a drive-through. It came up twice, so I don't know what that's about.
It might be 2, but
is it even possible to get 2 drive-throughs?
I think you can get 2 drive-throughs, but that's I don't know. No, it shouldn't be like a disqualification, because it's like 20 seconds.
He's not even going quick, so I don't know how he was, speeding in the pit, speeding on the safety car. Very interesting, but yeah, Andy, your point. There's not much point in changing tyres at this point, but it could be good, however, to put yourself at the back of the pack, out of every fight, just to give yourself some space around you. Because even in the rain, the car's a little bit slippery. You're wheel to wheel as well on the safety car when it goes in. A little bit slippy, you can lose car anytime. You can hit another person, that just causes a chain reaction. So,
and we can actually see the Mutts not bidding.
Yeah, I mean, Mutts are taking that onto fresh air Inters.
And then you win, probably.
Yes. Oh, yes, it's true. He has changed his wing. Yeah, I don't think there's much point in pitting, but we'll see what happens.
I think the biggest gain some people could get is at least a point, because someone is definitely going to spin.
Yes, that's true. So everyone's going to gain a position.
And then pace difference is going to be a little bit better, because tire wear. Oh, the Mustnut gets a penalty for.
Under the safety bar as well.
Was Polish My Balls already behind the Mustnuts, or has he just dropped it somewhere? Oh, he was behind him when Mustnuts came out. Okay.
So it's spun like twice. Polish My Balls.
Right.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
You can count. Yep. But continue.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that Polish My Balls was ahead of him and then dropped it again, but no, sorry, that's just me. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Mike is definitely going to be counted out of this race unless it's now safety cars.
I mean, you can't serve your drive through so it's definitely a disadvantage. I don't know why Polish My Balls. Without Polish My Balls, it would be in this lap, but I don't think it will be in this lap. Yeah, it's gone for another lap. So you have to wait on that. Someone's in. I think. Oh, two people in, including Mike.
Mr. Basil did. Oh wow, collision coming into the pits.
But Mr. Basil slowed down and basically stopped on the pit line, and Mike touched him. Now he's got a penalty through.
Bit harsh there for Mike because he had nowhere to go there.
I think that needs to be looked at because you cannot stop on the pit entry like that. And I think, yeah, he has damage as well, Mike, and he's going to replace his wing, so he's lost a little bit of time there. I think that needs to be looked at because that cannot be acceptable.
It is very harsh for that to happen because it's no fault of his own really. He's kind of like he's kind of got nowhere to go. He's got nowhere to sort of hide from that one.
5-second penalty to go with it as well. That's very good. Like that.
We'll see if another lap, depending on how fast it's happening.
Yeah, it's pretty much fast. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
It's
5
very
seconds.
different.
Yeah, 5 seconds on top of a drive-through is just, just wow. Cannot believe that, really.
He's going to have to do a lot in the main race.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a lot to catch up to do if he wants even a chance of points. Yeah, he has to be in like dry pace to even make up the time he's not so yeah, Mike is pretty much out this race, but anything can happen now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, unless there's a safety car, which I doubt he's not going to go.
It's not going to finish on the safety car because if it's too late in the race, yeah, they wouldn't bring it out at this point. It's impossible.
Yeah, well, he's out then.
Well, here we go then. Coming around.
But yep.
GG in the lead. He's taken lead from Little Greedy, who has a penalty, 3 seconds for extended track limits. Andrew
right
then,
now, the top 3 is right now GGJ, Andrew, and Agree. The top 3.
Andrew on a stalling drive here, getting ahead of Agree and separating the Haas partnership, as the safety car is almost there. So another 3 laps of exciting action for all of us to enjoy.
This is to me, guys. This is going to be just a question of who's going to come second in this race.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking right now. I'm just looking at him thinking GGJ is just going to drive off. Who can be best of the rest? Is it going to be Little Greavy? What about the Greave? He's going to be attacking on the back of Andrew because he wants to make this a double podium for the Haas guys. What a drive these two Greavy brothers are having here tonight. But you can't count out Creston and Mail, Matty Pitt either. Matty Pitt's been just sat there on the fringes of the leaders here all night. What can he do in this sprint race? Oh, his Little Greavy gets it horribly wrong coming out onto the start-finish straight here on the restart. And Andrew Pittsmith looking to the inside into Abbey, too far back at the moment. But yeah, as you were between the guys right now, and no changes in the order, but you can see there that Polish My Balls has got Mr. Basil hassling him coming through Abbey on the restart. As we come down towards Village we go. He's looking to the outside now, goes back to the inside there. As there we go, Mr. Basil diving up the inside of Village. Beautifully done there from him, and he moves himself up into the final, well, not actually points playing position, because in the sprint race you only get a point to the top 8. Oh, as Mr. Polish My Balls loses it, bins it there coming on the exit of Aintree, and he's down to P12 there, so Mike up into 11th place.
Won 2 times.
What a shame.
2 times too many for Polish My Balls, but Andrew is looking very, very racy on that back of Little Greavy there. I mean, GGJ, as you predicted, Andy, he's just run away with it now.
Oh, he's very wide there coming out of Woodcote.
God,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
He's got a penalty.
Oh, GGJ.
Oh,
he has a penalty.
Andrew Pittsmith could be in for a win in this sprint race.
Wow.
He's currently 1.2 seconds off for the lead, so if he can stay where he is right now, he just needs to make sure he doesn't lose more than 1.8 seconds over these last 2 and a bit laps. I mean, it's easier said than done because GTJ's got some serious pace around this Silverstone circuit, but if Andrew Pittsmith can just sort of match GTJ and be close to his lap times, he could be in for a P1 here. This is very, very tight, but potentially on the cards here.
1.1.
It's going to be groundbreaking for Andrew. I mean, he's been looking very quick all race, and I mean, if this is how quick he is in the rain, how quick is he going to be in the dry? If it is dry in the actual main race. But yeah, very impressive so far. 2.1, it's looking all right. He's got another lap to prove himself. But yeah, so far it's looking good. It's goes a little bit wide there. I think he kept it within the track. But yeah, very good so far. But they touched. They've touched. That's a little. I don't know if it's damage. I don't think it's damage for anyone. It goes into the back of him. Luckily, because of a shocking F122 physics model, none of them have damage. So very lucky on Andrew's part there. He's going to be sweating him out one. For 3 seconds, he's he's going to be kicking himself now because that's just, you know, slowing him down, and he's going to be.
Ooh, two people have a
Mr. Basil's off. Yeah, he's lost it. He had a collision there with mine. Yeah, those two must have come together coming through Village, I think. I saw a double wave yellow flags, which subsided pretty quickly.
I think, yeah, Andrew needs to overtake Little Greavy now if he wants to win on penalties.
Andrew goes wide there, actually.
He hasn't got a chance. I don't think he's got a chance. No way.
If we focus on the qualifying, we could see how much of pace difference it was with GDJ in 2 seconds.
The Mark's picking up a 3-second time penalty there, which might lose him out to Totally 0K. He's only 2 seconds behind Totally 0K, so he will jump the Mark and the Mutsnuts as things stand at the moment. As Creston Away,
around the outside of the Grieve, and this could be a good move, and he closes the door in it perfectly there, good timing there, and he's up in position into P4. So even, I think he's just within range of getting Little Greavy's position, so he could be ending up in P3 here. Let's see what happens with Grieve not letting go of him there, and as we enter the final lap of the Silverstone sprint race, Little Greavy gets a penalty again.
Another one.
So about 6 seconds, so that is going to be basically up until P6, so that is a very poor race from Little Greavy. Well, of what could have been compared to what could have been in his position on paper, but yeah, disappointing penalties from Little Greavy.
Yeah, so as things stand, it's going to be Andrew and Creston Away on the podium, and Little Greavy here after such a promising start to the race. I mean, led the opening couple of laps, let's not forget, and then GGJ hunted him down and pulled away, but it's going to be a really, really difficult pill to swallow for these Haas guys, because they were running in second and third early on in this race, and probably fancying a double podium finish as it stands. They're going to be, I think, 5th and 6th in this race, or 4th and 6th maybe, actually, because the Grieve will pick up Little Greavy's position. Yeah, Mr. Basil out of the race, what a shame. So he'll start from 12th place for the Grand Prix here at Silverstone tonight. Matty Pitt with a 3-second time penalty there for multiple track limit warnings, so he's going to drop to... He'll stay P6. Yeah, Matty Pitt will stay P6, but that will mean that Little Greavy will be P5 instead of P6, so that will give them a little bit more points, the Haas guys. But here we go, Matty Pitt looking to try and make the move nonetheless here on the Grieve, down the hanger straight. He breezes past him like he's not even there, but obviously with the penalties it won't make a difference, as the Grieve has got the Mark looking to his inside into Stowe. Oh, he's going to try and push him wide, bit of contact, and he holds on there. In the meantime, let's go to GGJ, because he's coming out of club corner and he's going to take the win in the sprint race. Great job from him. Little Greavy comes around to take a P2 on the track, but it will be a P4 at best, I think. Andrew Pittsmith taking second ahead of Creston Away, who completes the podium. Little Greavy P4 in the end with the penalties. Matty Pitt P5. The Grieve finishes in 6th in the end, with Totally 0K nabbing the Mark and the Mutsnuts with their penalties into 7th place. Mark 8th, Mutsnuts 9th, with Polish My Balls in P10, just coming through Vale Chicane now, and it's been a race to forget here for Polish My Balls, I'll tell you that. He'll be hoping for better in the Grand Prix. P10 for him. And Mike likewise really with Polish My Balls. Those two have not had the night so far at all, and will be, I'm sure, praying that they don't get a similar sort of race in the Grand Prix. But here we come, Mike round the last corner here to take 11th place in the sprint race. Mr. Basil and Eggman retiring early on, or earlier on should I say, not early on, but I mean, that is that for the sprint race. GGJ taking the win, and I can't say we expected much different from what we saw, to be honest with you. He's looking in imperious form, our championship leader here tonight at Silverstone. In these difficult conditions, he's showing that that's no barrier to him exerting his dominance here over the rest of the field. Andrew Pittsmith taking second, Creston Away in 3rd place. But, yeah, I mean, a bit scrappy, but more or less a very clean race from all of the guys. I've got to say, a massive improvement on the last couple of weeks. What do you say, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot disagree with you there. Definitely a improvement in just driving quality. I don't think there were many incidents at all. I mean, maybe that incident with Mr. Basil, I think, towards the end of the race there. But so far so good, I guess we could say. Very, very strong race from GGJ. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point that he's going to win the race if he can keep it on the black stuff. But yeah, definitely a very good race, and promising for what we can expect from the main race.
Absolutely. Felix, in terms of what you're seeing right now, think it's a bit better than what it's been the last few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. It's like ever since the season started, it was promising start, because it was very clean, but it went downhill. But now that they have like reset everything, it's become cleaner, but it's more messy with the spins and everything. But now seeing that it's sunny, we're going to hope less spins, of course. But if you remember Silverstone Season 2, we also saw that it was a lot of penalties then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this track is a very penalty threatened track.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There's always the potential of it. You're never too far away. And obviously, over the course of the Grand Prix, it's almost 3 times longer than the sprint race. So, you know, a lot more time for the drivers to find those limits and potentially pick up more time penalties. But we're underway for the formation lap here for round 9 of the Formula 1 season here at Motive. Obviously, we're seeing a bit of a depleted grid. We've had a bit of a reform in terms of the league for this week. It was going to be binned off, and then with Matty Pitts taking over the league coordinator sort of role for the league, and it's basically just tried to turn it around and get a few new faces in, try and iron out a few of the creases and the dead wood, and we've got relatively pretty much for the most part, or in fact for the entire part, I think we've got a very clean bunch of drivers here, and obviously we've got. Hopefully some good racing for you tonight. Hopefully we can. We don't have. I don't have to be sat here creasing and wondering what on earth has gone wrong, like I was a couple of weeks ago at Baku, where I was sat here honestly wondering why I bother. But no, this week's been good so far, so good, as Max said, and hopefully we can be bringing you an exciting British Grand Prix here tonight from Silverstone. I won't lie, I've got to be honest, I'm still a little bit put out that we can't have full grids. I'm just a bit sad we don't have a full grid. I'll be honest, I can't lie, but ultimately it's just a work in progress at the moment. We've just got to keep pushing, and if you're watching, if you're enjoying the racing that you're seeing here tonight, and you're a clean, fair driver, and you think you might be able to stand a chance against these guys, then definitely head over to www.motiveracing.com. We're going to hopefully have 2 or 3 of us commentating every week. We're hoping to put on a show for everybody live on YouTube, so if you do fancy it, then definitely head over, because we are looking for clean new drivers to grace our grids here. But guys, I've got to ask you the $1 million question, obviously. Is it even a question? Who's going to win this race? Eggman.
GG has definitely got us on the back so far. I mean, we haven't seen any of these drivers pace in the dry. We saw it in the rain, obviously, because we saw it first time. But in the dry, it's a completely different question. So much more grip, more just an open playing field. And let's see what happens. Andrew is angling his car towards GGJ, which is something you can do in this game. Interesting. So we definitely know his intentions are clear. But here we go on the grid.
Yeah, lights coming on now at the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here for the British Grand Prix. We've got bright sunshine here at Silverstone, and it's lights out and away we go. And it looks like Andrew does get a quick start, but GGJ's got him. Yeah, GGJ holds on coming into Abbey, as Andrew here has got pressure, but the Grieve there getting ahead of Crestanami up into 4th place. So Crestanami losing out. You've got Mr. Basil, who's made a move on Mike, and the Mark's got ahead of the Mutts Nuts, and also Matty Pitt as well, as Mike making a couple of position gains here as well. But it's GGJ leading us, coming through entry in the loop for the first time. Andrew Pittsmith there in 2nd place with Little Greavy 3rd, and the Grieve on the back of him right now, his brother right there in contention. But Mr. Basil here moving through ahead of the Mark. You've got Matty Pitt just ahead of them in the foreground, as looks as though we got Eggman trying to join his battle as well. Down the inside he goes on the Mark, coming through Brooklands, but the Mark there keeping it on the inside there for Luffield and keeps on to 9th place. So a great little scrap between those two, which the Mark holds on to 9th place, but GGJ leading ahead of Andrew Pittsmith, followed by the Little Greavy and the Grieve. And then you've got side by side here, the Mutts Nuts sticking to the inside here on the Crestanami, but it's too far back coming into Cops Corner. But so far so good here on the first lap of the British Grand Prix. GGJ leading, coming through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. He's got almost a second of a gap here over Andrew Pittsmith, who's got Little Greavy pressuring him here for 2nd place. And currently it's still quite a close battle for the podium places at the moment, but GGJ does seem to be stretching his gap already here.
Yeah, really good race so far, especially for Hasses as well, both moving up places to complete. Little Greavy completing the podium, and the Grieve right behind him, his older brother, right behind him, trailing him. as Crescent Anime is still there, to be fair. He's lost
Oh, it's the Mutsnuts. Mutsnuts making a move down the inside. Great move there.
He's made that move stick, you know, and that is a crazily good move. As Matty Pitt down the inside of Crescent Anime, it recreates the Frugo's Hamilton.
Oh, the Grieve! The Grieve lost it, yeah.
Round, he spun it on the hards, and very disappointing. But Crescent Anime created the Frugo's Hamilton move. And Mr. Basil is very deep there. Mr. Basil is up 6 positions, I believe. So that is a crazy race from him. Yeah, really good race so far.
Oh, battling.
Eggman there squeezing through ahead of the mark. Yeah, those two are side by side. Mr. Basil's lost out. He's onto the grass. He's lost it coming out of the loop. Onto the grass he goes, and he's down to 12th place. So all of that hard work that he did on the first lap was all for absolutely nothing. He's down to 12th place, and all of his hard work goes down the toilet.
Yeah,
we can
go on.
We can actually see that the two drivers who have gained most positions are Eggman and then Mutsnut. Both 5. And then Lil Greavy, even on hards, he has made probably the best start right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see a variety of tyres here. Little Greavy, Crescent Anime, and Grieve starting on hard, which ideally on F1 2022 is the better option. With the Mutsnuts with purple last sector there, actually. Eggman and Mr. Basil had a lightning start, probably because he was on softs, which against the mediums and the hards were definitely a major pace advantage. But yeah, very disappointing from Mr. Basil. Yeah.
Totally 0K is all over the back of Push My Balls in the meantime. Just watching this battle here as they're going through Vale at the moment. But Totally 0K trying to go around the outside here. Gets the traction out of Vale, and round the outside of Club he goes, and beautifully done there from Totally 0K up into 9th place. Easy pickings there for him. Mike now looking on the back of Push My Balls as well. As in the meantime, Eggman's still on the back of the mark. These two right on the back of Crest Anime.
Might see an overtake soon by the Mutsnut and the Greavy. It depends on if the Greavy catches up to Andrew and gets the arrest for the next race. Then we have the mark on Crescent, Eggman also, and then Polish My Balls on Thursday.
Yeah, Polish My Balls was getting close to Totally 0K down the end of the Wellington straight there, but didn't quite get there in time. The mark's looking really close on the back of Crest Anime, but the thing that the mark's got that's holding him back is that Crest Anime is still within the DRS here on Matty Pitt, and obviously Eggman in a similar situation can't really get around at the mark because they're all in a DRS train. It's going to be frustrating for everyone involved. Just the Mutsnuts has got a time penalty there for track limits. But yeah, currently Crest Anime clinging on to that DRS there on Matty Pitt, and that is currently holding him a bit of a lifeline here as they're coming down the hanger straight again. You can see that he's still got that rear wing wide open, which is just helping him to defend from these two behind him. As Polish My Balls here is making a move on Totally 0K, DRS aided down the hanger straight up into 9th place. In the background there, still the battle going on here between Mike and Mr. Basil, which Mike's holding on to at the moment. But yeah, stuff going on all over the place right now. Little Greavy still on the back of Andrew, but GGJ has got a 2-second gap, and to be fair, you know, the gap's only 2 seconds. I say only 2 seconds, that's an average of 0.6 a lap, but that's not as bad as I feel it might be. You know, I thought that GGJ might potentially, you know, what we saw in the one-shot quali is 1.4 seconds a lap quicker. I thought he was going to be absolutely gone, and it hasn't been the case, to be fair. He's not light years ahead. He's clearly ahead of these guys, but he's not absolutely running away, if that makes sense.
One factor I see, GGJ, as we've seen throughout the whole season, hasn't touched his ERS once. He is on a full battery, whereas Andrew is at 60%. So that just goes to show. I mean, Little Greavy is on like 6%. So that just shows the self-control and this pure raw talent and speed of GGJ.
In the meantime, Totally 0K making a move on Polish My Balls once again. These two have been trading places left, right and centre throughout the course of this race so far. Down the inside goes Totally 0K. Polish My Balls can't turn in because Totally 0K's got that inside line and moves himself through up into 9th place. But one thing that's quite crucial here is that Little Greavy is actually on the hard tyres. So, you know, where he is right now, he ideally he'd want to get ahead of Andrew so he can be with it being clear air and try and keep GGJ in sight. But, you know, lapping 7 or 8 tenths a lap slower than GGJ is probably where he'd expect to be at this point. So it's not all doom and gloom for him. If he can just stay where he is and try and keep ahead of the Mustangs. Oh, he's lost it coming out of the cup corner. No! Oh, what a shame. And he resets to the track as well, which I know Matty Pitt is not a fan of. So Matty Pitt might be having a look at that if he's watching the stream or if he watches it back afterwards. But yeah, I know that Matty is not a fan of resetting at all. He suggested to me on a number of occasions that I should make it illegal and disqualify drivers for doing it. So obviously, if he's implementing his own rules, then that could be a slam dunk there for Little Greavy.
Definitely. I drive a PSGL, and that is very, very illegal to reset the track because it distracts other drivers and even cause them to like divert their path really and go off the racing line and even loses them places, tenths, seconds, maybe not seconds, but like a bit of time, which is crucial in races like this. So I definitely think that should be looked at. But yeah, what happens is down to the stewards. But yeah, for now, Nuts is 5 tenths behind Andrew, so he's keeping on. Very solid race from him. It's a shame for that penalty. But Crescent Anime, I mean, it was such a good drive. So far in this race for Haas, just keep going with Andrew and really keeping on the back. He just had a chance. He could have even stayed in the back room, just used the DRS to even like carry him to GGJ. But yeah, it was such a shame losing at the last corner, which is actually really rare to do. I've seen very rarely. So yeah, just a shame that it happened to him.
Yeah.
Definitely so. I'm just watching the battle between Crest Anime and the Mark in the meantime. Eggman's got ahead of Little Greavy, and that's because Little Greavy's binned it coming through Stowe. So his race was looking really promising in the early stages, but it's now pretty much gone to pot here for Little Greavy. He's going to have blistered tyres. They're going to be really, really overheated as well. He's down in 8th place at the moment and is nearly 20 seconds off of the lead. So what started out as a possible chase for a win or a podium looks to be now scrapping it out for some menial points, but the Nuts is still pressuring back of Andrew Pittsmith here. These guys are 3.5 seconds off of the race leader GGJ, so GGJ I think has got the race win in hand unless he makes a mistake in this race. But these two battling out over second place. It's looking to be a very, very exciting scrap indeed here between these two. Matty Pitt and Crest Anime still close, running in 4th and 5th. The Mark there closing up onto the back of these guys and looking to try and bring himself into this fight. Crest Anime is in a much better position than the others though, because obviously being on the hard tyres means that he'll be able to put the mediums on, or maybe even the soft if he's really conservative on the tyres, but certainly the mediums, which will be quicker than everybody else on the hards at the end. Eggman's been making good progress, but we'll have to put the mediums or the soft or the hards on. Probably we'll have to put the hards on at some point during this race, which will slow down his second stint. But in terms of strategy right now, I'd say Crest Anime is in a good position to maybe challenge for a podium place here tonight.
The Mustang goes for the overtake. It doesn't make it though. He nearly made it.
Yeah, this is it's actually the place where the Nuts made a move into Vale a few laps ago. I think it was on the opening lap actually, but not this time. Andrew Pittsmith has got that covered at the moment. Though. Yeah. So.
Man, 5 seconds on speeding in the pit lane.
Oh dear.
That's cool, especially. Well, I mean, it's not soft, so it's easy. I mean, it's expected to win now. But one thing I've noticed, again, ERS, Nuts is on like 10%, whereas Andrew is 6 times that, 60%. So that really harmed him as well. And I've seen Nuts like through the last sector, he basically had it on stuck. So that's definitely not going to help him conserve it. And it's going to be a bit of disadvantage as the race goes on, because that's really your only lifeline out there, ERS and DRS, with keeping up on the other drivers as Andrew gets a little bit wide, but nope, gets a cut back and gets a better exit, and he's looking a little bit quicker here, Mats. So I don't think he's going to attempt to Hamilton though. So
I think he has better straight line speed than him.
Yes, he definitely looks like it, especially through here as well. You can see that he's definitely gaining. He hasn't touched ERS, so definitely Nuts with the lower wings compared to Andrew Smith, and it's still even quicker for his high downforce section of Matty Pitt has a 3-second penalty, who is defending the mark.
Here we go then. Nuts pulls out the slipstream, DRS wide open here down the hanger straight, but as you can see there, Andrew Pittsmith has just got an answer to him, and Nuts has got a bit of downforce around the outside. He gets it done. The green with the 3-second time penalty there, but Nuts there getting it done beautifully there around the outside of Stowe corner into Vale we go. He's now 1 place behind the race leader GGJ, but GGJ there with the fastest lap of the race, currently driving off into the distance here. But that was a great move there from the Nuts. I tell you what, he didn't have the straight line speed, but the DRS aided, and the extra grip around the outside, he did absolutely fantastically there. Crest Anime is pulling up onto the back of the marks still, but these guys are still stuck behind Matty Pitt at the moment. But the Nuts now in some clean air. Can he chase GGJ? I don't think it's going to be possible, but we can dream, I suppose.
What was I going to say? Yeah, about the gears, you know how Hjelmer was about the gears and low gears and everything. Yeah, it seems like most people go below third gear, sometimes into first, which can definitely lose you a lot of time into the corners.
Yes.
Which that's probably the reason why some of them are spinning. As I can see as well, the Grieve has 16 seconds penalty.
Yeah, I mean lower gears means more torque, so more power delivered to the rear wheels, and that's just going to turn you around eventually. So yeah, definitely very risky from there. And Yom has taught us a massive lesson there. And we were playing with him earlier actually. Abu Dhabi gave us a few lessons, and Little Greavy's out.
Oh no!
He spot it on the exit of magazine. That's an unusual place to spin it, and there is a full course safety car. That's a very unusual spot to.
He must have hit the curb into corner.
Yeah, must have maybe touched a curb. Maybe just gone over it completely onto the sausage curb and just spun round.
So many drivers coming into the pits here now. The safety car's out. Mutsnuts, Andrew, Matty Pitt, the Mark all coming in. So they're all taking this opportunity here to put a fresh set of boots on. Who's going to go to the end here and stick the hards on? I suppose in a way you got the drivers who started on the hards are in a bit of a bogey position here, because they obviously would want to be putting the hards on from here. I think it's a little bit too early to be putting the mediums on. I don't know. I mean, it could work.
Crescent enemy spins.
Yeah, he does. So Crescent Anime there onto the grass. Luckily for him, it's a safety car, so he's not going to lose any time, as he'll be able to pull up onto the leader nonetheless. But this is going to really shake up the strategy here. If there's one way that we're going to see somebody other than GGJ win this race, it'd be down to some strategy kind of playing its part. And the thing is, GGJ I think had already gone past the pits at the time that the safety car got deployed, so he was kind of like, you know, his decision was made for him essentially. So could this be a possibility maybe that we could be seeing a bit of a scrap for this win now, maybe with the strategy?
It's definitely brought the race alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll definitely be another safety car at some point or another.
Yeah.
So I think the harsh can make it as well, because the tire wear isn't that big around.
It's very minimal around Silverstone.
Yeah, except for Magus and Beckett, but that's literally the only place where you lose most. So the harsh is definitely going to make it with the safety car and some others. But CJ is in a bad position.
The thing about Silverstone is it works the inside of the tyre, but the actual outside of the tyre it doesn't do much to. Generally, that's why you had all the tyre blowouts, wasn't it? Years ago happened at Silverstone. I think a 5-1 race.
Yeah, something like that. Was it Carlos Sainz, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis?
Yeah, the actual tyre wear itself is very minimal, but it's the inside of the tyre that gets worked hard. That's what it is.
He sped into the pit lane. Wow.
No, he didn't.
On my screen, he went straight into it. But
it could be. I don't think so, but it could be the
oh yeah. So on to hard tyres. I mean, yeah, for hard tyres, definitely make it to the end. But TJ has cut himself off a big chunk of work to do here. I mean, with the pace he has, it's definitely not impossible for him to get back into the lead. How long will that take now? So it's going to be a massive race to the top.
In addition, to drive the penalty, and then we have 3 6 seconds and Mike with another drive-through.
The drive-throughs just want to be attracted to market because.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 now.
Yeah, 3 tonight. That is big show. Yeah, I think the Grieve, he was on hards, Eggman was on hards, Mr. Basil was on softs. So we'll go to mediums. I don't know why they would go to hards. I know Grieve couldn't because he was already on hards. But why Mr. Basil didn't go to hards? A bit of a conflict in strategy, but we'll see how his plans out as we head on to the Cop Straight, onto the old pit straight. On lap 10, safety car.
Yeah, if you are just joining us here, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the safety car. We will be going probably at the end of lap 11 because I think you have to do a minimum two laps on the safety car, isn't it? So we won't be going this lap, even though the pack is bunched up. I don't think we're going to go this time. We might do it. I don't know if it's a thing. Usually, for some reason, I notice that you don't usually only do one lap under the safety car. You usually have to do two, but I mean, it would be nice if that tradition's broken here. Oh yeah, it is. So yeah, we are going to be going at the end of this lap, which is great, obviously, because we want to see some racing getting underway. So 16 laps left to go. The hard tyres are going to easily go to the end from here, but drivers like Eggman, the Grieve, Mr. Basil, they're going to definitely be pushing their luck. I mean, it could be possible, but I think that they're going to have to come in again. It just makes more sense, I think, for them to have to come in because, you know, 16 racing laps on the mediums. They're going to be hanging on, I reckon. Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah. I've mostly been focusing on Matsnap and Andy now because they're both on hards, P2 and 3. That was going to be fighting for the win. But the degree, Mr. Bassel and Eggman, I don't really have anything to say about that.
Oh, poke my balls. He's made a mistake coming out of club corner. He's down to P12, so a mistake there straight away on the restart. But
big shame from that. But Crescent Anime so far holding on to the lead. Mutsnuts is raring to go, and even on straight, he's got a good exit. He's going to blast all of his ERS in. But even so,
Crescent Anime has got incredible straight line speed. Yeah, but
compared to Crescent Anime, he has nothing.
I think the Mutsnuts might be running a more conservative approach to the setup. Maybe he's got more downforce clearly, which is costing him down the straights. But then through the corners, you can see he's pulling right up onto the back of him.
But even Andrew Smith, I mean, he was slower than Mutsnuts. So Crescent Anime just built an absolute rocket ship in a straight line. It looks like it. So I think Mutsnuts has got to wait until DRS. But how long, if he does wait, that's just going to harm him even more. Because with dirty air from the car ahead will just damage the tyres and he'll hold up. So big decision making skills needed from the Mutsnuts.
I've just jumped on with the Grieve, who's currently attacking on the back of Totally Zero K. They've got GGJ right behind them as well here. So these guys in a bit of a train here, half a second separating them. We'll keep an eye on the battle up front. Obviously, we'll come back to that in a moment, but. Currently here, the Grieve looking to try and get on with this. As Eggman, I think, coming into the pits, is it? Yeah, Eggman's coming in at the end of lap 10. Strange time to come in. We had a safety car ending only a lap ago, but he could probably put another set of mediums on and go to the end from here. But for the time being, the Grieve... Oh, was it a drive-through? Sorry, my bad. But the Grieve still can't find a way through ahead of Totally Zero K at the moment. And it's obviously with no DRS yet, you know, it's a little bit more difficult in the early few laps of a restart or of a race to actually make those moves. The Mutsnuts is still trying to pressure Crescent Anime.
Grieve's made a move on Totally Zero. He's going to be side by side for his left hander. And Totally Zero gets off the track there by himself. He's using a little bit of DRS here. Will he go to the inside? He's going to go to the inside. Will he make a move? He's going to be latest on the brakes. It's going to be Totally Zero. Grieve opens up the corner to make himself so as GGJ goes through the Grieve. That's a great move.
Absolutely mugged him there, didn't he? Beautifully capitalised there from GGJ. Now he's going to look to try and make it two moves in the space of a couple of corners here. He's got a bit of a run here coming out of Woodcote. Down the old start finish straight we go. And here we go. It's going to be the move for GGJ into Cop's corner. Beautifully done there. GGJ gains 2 places in about the space of half a mile. And he's up into P6 and can now try and chase down the leaders. But obviously was leading the race earlier on. Lost out in the pit window due to the timing of his pit stop. But he's currently in a decent position right now, and he's about 5 seconds off for the leader, Crescent Anime, who'll be looking to try and get on with it as wild as he can. But the Mutsnuts is probably in the best position here because Crescent Anime's still got a pit in this race. The Mutsnuts currently on the fringes of him, needs to get this move done as soon as he can if he wants to be able to put out enough of a gap to stay ahead of GGJ at the end. The Mutsnuts really needs to make this move as soon as he possibly can here on Crescent Anime. Time is running out.
He's going to make a move on Totally Zero here, and that's almost done on Kevin Magnussen, I think it was, and Alex Albon 2020. But very close there. But yeah, GGJ, that is a champion's move if I've ever seen it. Fastest lap as well. His pace is unquestionable tonight, and for another spin from Eggman. But his pace is unbelievable. It's throughout this whole season. And I think he definitely deserves this championship. It's too early to call, but this is a champion's drive today.
Yeah, it's very difficult to look beyond GGJ for this championship this season with the departure of Demsbecky and also Bennett, and obviously the fact that Vincent Janssen, is his teammate for one, but also not seeming to be turning out for every race either. So, it's very, very difficult to imagine that anybody's going to be winning this championship other than him. But we hopefully be seeing a few of those guys jumping in over the course of this season, because we want to see a few different race winners and we want to see some battles for the wins. And obviously this race has been blown wide open due to the timing of the safety cars. And I think as long as we don't have any more safety cars in this race, it's still going to be a bit of a guessing game as to who's going to take this win, because the Mutsnuts is on the back of Crest Anime. Crest Anime has obviously still got a pit again, but the gap between the Mutsnuts and GGJ, because he is the de facto race leader, the Mutsnuts, with Crest Anime still yet to pit, or rather the net race leader, should I say. So with that taken into account, I think that we should be sort of considering the Mutsnuts as the race leader. So with that in mind, obviously, GGJ needs to still be trying to keep close to him. He needs to try and clear this traffic that's ahead of him as soon as he possibly can. Fastest lap of the race there from GGJ, 31.6. I'm not really sure what these other guys are doing right now, but he's definitely going quicker than them, that's for sure.
Something that I focus on right now about Max is that 6 second penalty, which is a good penalty.
Here we go, he's trying to move to the outside, but Crest Anime with that straight line speed is going to keep ahead of him coming into Brooklands, as we're just putting a lap there on one of the Aston Martins, which I think was Eggman. Or is Eggman in Aston? Yeah, he is. Yes. So, but the thing is, the Mutsnuts, he's got a lot more pace than Crest Anime at this point. He is being held up, but Crest Anime is so quick in a straight line that the Mutsnuts has got no answer to him. Even with DRS, he needs to be pretty much up his bum, or he needs to be on his rear wing if he's to have any chance of getting past down the straights. He needs to get a good run coming out of Chapel Curve this time around. Here we come, into Maggots we go, through Beckett's. Can the Mutsnuts manage to get a good drive out of Chapel Curve and be able to use the slipstream and the DRS to his advantage here? Didn't get a great run, but better than he has done in previous laps. And here we go, the Mutsnuts now looking all over the back of him, as we can see Crest Anime leaves the door open. The Mutsnuts looking down the inside into Stowe corner, and this time around the Mutsnuts is going to make the move for P1 in this race. He needed to make that there and then. I'll tell you what, if he spent any more time behind Crest Anime, he would have been in danger from the guys behind. So the Mutsnuts there taking the lead of the race. He's got track position with 12 laps left in this race. Can he hold on from the charging pack of Andrew, Matty Pitt, the Mark, and most importantly GGJ running in P6?
Yeah, Eggman's round. I don't know. I think that's on the main straight as well, coming out the final corner, and that's a safety car.
Oh no!
So
yeah, it is.
So P6, everyone, GGJ is right on board. That is your winner of tonight at Silverstone.
Well, no, it isn't, because we could be seeing a few drivers put the softs on here. We're going to have, think about it, we're going to have 8 or 9 racing, we're going to have 9 racing laps. We're going to have 9 racing laps in this race, so softs are an option now.
Yeah, softs are definitely an option, but even mediums as well. I think definitely hard runners, they could, I don't know, maybe think about going to the mediums, consider the mediums. But they did start mediums, so I don't think they will have any new sets.
I think the biggest choice, or the best choice would be mediums. Thinking about because obviously the soft could make 9 laps, but they will be much slower than the hards and mediums. Yeah,
definitely. And as well, Crescent Anime is definitely a godsend for him. 14 laps hards, he's going to pit onto the mediums probably, and just accelerate through the field. Possibly. I mean, he's had good pace so far. He's defended from Mutsnuts as Culture Bulls gets another penalty. He's had good pace, and let's see how it plays out with new tyres versus.
It could be a strategy from the Aston Martin, so Andrew can catch up again.
That could actually. That's a very good point. Crashgate all over again. But
yeah, and then we could see. We can also see that Mike has another drive through.
Grieve has a penalty for hitting someone. Totally Zero also spun into the pit lane.
The Grieve's DNF'd. Why? What's he retired for? Maybe he's just had enough.
Yeah, I think he hit someone and that caused him to have a penalty. It might have been to do with Totally Zero, because I think he spun into the pit lane totally. So
that's very frustrating for the Haas guys, because the double DNF after, well, I mean, those guys had such pace tonight. It's going to be a bit of a somber debrief, I think, for those guys in their party chat right now, or rather, they are brothers, so I don't know if they live in the same household, but yeah, they're definitely not going to be the greatest of Friday evenings after that. But currently, we've still got the Must Nuts, who leads the race, and he's elected not to pit as well. GGJ running 4 places behind him on the track. But obviously now that they're bunched up, he's going to have an easier time of making his way through. But I think the Must Nuts out of the top 4 has probably got the strongest pace. So I think theoretically he should be able to pull away from these guys. We were saying before how GGJ's got this one in the bag. I'm not so sure about that, at this point. Because he's going to have to clear the 3 guys in front of him first, Andrew, Matty and the Mark. The Mutts just needs to try and get away here, needs to try and make as much space as he can, whilst he can. After this restart. I mean, it's easier said than done, but it doesn't look like we're going anytime soon, so we are going to do at least one more lap under safety car. So we are going to be going, we're going to have a 9-lap dash to the flag. Is anybody going to chance it and put the softs on here? Because look at the times, they've got 18 seconds back to totally 0k, so all 7 of these top 7 can do a free pit stop and come out in P7 at worst.
Yeah, it's a risky strategy.
Does anyone do it?
That's no doubt.
Yeah, someone is doing it. We can see there.
Vessel.
Yeah, it's Mr. Vessel.
Yeah.
I don't think he has much to lose. I mean, obviously look at his pace at the beginning on the softs, but the question is, does he have another set of softs? I think he might have, because for one-shot qualifying, so you only use 1 set of softs, so he might have a fresh set of tyres. I think his pace was absolutely raging at the beginning of this race. I was 6 positions until he lost it. Will that happen again, or? Well, 2 things. Will it happen again in the pace, or will it happen again in the mistake? So,
oh, he's taking
soft tyres going on Mr. Basil's car. So, yeah, no surprise to me to see those going on. If you're coming in at this stage, when you're in a pack of cars, I think it's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to try something a bit different. So let's see if we can use that pace advantage. And obviously, he's going to have a bit of a job getting those to the end, but it is possible. I think it's doable just about. He's going to be really pushing his luck at the end of the race though. But in the meantime, we've got the Mutts Nuts leading us here as we are coming around, I think, the final lap under safety car here. Andrew Pittsmith right behind him with Matty Pitt in the mark. GGJ, if he can get a clear passage through these guys in front of him, will probably win this race. We know he's got a pace. Oh, Mutts, careful man, careful. Will he be able to regain his position, guys? Do we know?
Oh, he's found again!
Oh no!
The Mark hit him. Or
he hit the Mark.
Yeah.
He hit the rear right of the Mark and that spun him round. That is destroyed
He left
any
the session.
chance. Left?
He hasn't. Yeah, he left.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Oh no, that can't
How strange.
Be that can't
must
be.
be.
Yeah, it looks like it was a rage quit. I mean, they were on a safety car. Right? Would he have been able to regain his position, or would he have had to start there?
No,
he
went off track with Dark.
Oh, so he wouldn't have been able to regain it.
Yeah, he went off track, and I don't think he regained positions.
Yeah.
If you spun on the track, like 90 degrees, I think he could regained it. But he was off the track, so I don't think there was a chance. And
He needs to have 2 tires on track to regain them. About tires though, with sprint races, you always get the mediums there, but you also can race on them in the main race. But as we saw it was Inter, so they definitely should have another spare of mediums.
Yeah, definitely, I get what you're saying. And I think Mr. Basil's are brand new, these tyres, and they're still 0 laps old, so this lap he came out. So I think, yeah, we're going to have to see how the tyre wear plays out. And Mark has a massive gap to Matty Pitt, so he's lost out a little bit here. But Andrew Smith's safety car's in, the lights gone green, and we're underway back here. Actually. That's a really good restart. Matty Pitt has a massive gap to Mark here. GGJ is in the back of the podium position, scoring positions, as it sets off on a brand new charge to win this race.
Here we go, totally 0k, looking to the inside of Crest Anime into Village, no too far back, just a bit.
No, the Mr. Basil spun.
That's disappointing as well on the sauce. Let's go to Anime. Gets ahead of Totally Zero there, but Totally Zero is going to be on the back of him. It's going to be very equal, but Crescent Anime's top light speed makes no match of Totally, which Mutts Nuts was struggling with his teammate. So yeah, no can do there.
Andrew is extending his gap out the front. He was not hanging around on this restart. He's saying, sorry lads, I'm off, I'm checking out, I'm off to the next race already. He's currently a second and a half clear of Matty Pitt, but crucially for him, he's 2.5 seconds clear of GGJ, and that's what he needs at the moment. Andrew needs to make hay while the sun shines, because GGJ currently stuck behind Matty Pitt in the mark. This is his big opportunity here to maybe try and take the ball by the horns and possibly take this race win here at Silverstone. What a night it'd be for Andrew Pittsmith on his return to the Motive Racing F1 League after a few seasons away. He hasn't been here on a Friday night for a long time, but he is out on track right now doing what he needs to do, and we've got just over 7 laps left in this race. So could it be Andrew Pittsmith throwing up a bit of a surprise here tonight, as GGJ's really close to the back of the mark coming down towards Vale? Is he going to send one up the inside? Thinks better of that one for the time being, but Andrew Pittsmith with a golden opportunity here, and Matty Pitt's actually gained on him a little bit coming to the second and third sectors. I did see Andrew going a bit wide coming out of Chapel out onto the Hanger Straight, did get onto the grass a little bit, which would have cost him a little bit of time and possibly a bit of confidence as Mike into the pits here at the end of lap 18. But Andrew Pittsmith currently has P1 at the moment. GGJ really hassling the mark as they're coming through Village. In towards Aintree they go, almost tapping him in the rear there is GGJ. He's got Crest Anime on the back of him as well, so wants to get on with this. Crest Anime, let's not forget, on the medium tyres as well, is going to have a pace advantage over the guys in front of him as well.
Yeah, I mean, just have to wait to DRS for them to come into full effect. But even with the battle, Man Pitts goes a little bit wide there. Even with this battling going on, Chris Anime, he's gone to the back of GGJ pretty much. But he's going to have to hang on. It's a big task for Chris. With this rocket ship he has in a straight line, I don't think it's going to be much of a contest, really. He's going to be caught up on the hanger straight in no time. So I think it's going to be a really interesting race. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Matty Pitt's closed up onto the back of Andrew. Matty Pitt's closed up onto the back of Andrew a little bit over the course of this lap. It was 1.2 at the start of the lap. It's now, well, it's actually gone up a bit. So Andrew's pulled out coming through the Maggots and Beckett's there, but it's kind of ebbing and flowing a little bit. GGJ within 0.2 of the mark, but the mark will have DRS on Matty this next lap, so he's not going to be able to sort of have a free passage at him. So it's currently just a bit of a train of cars here battling over the lead. Andrew Pittsmith has got under a second now to Matty Pitts, and Matty Pitt has managed to claw back a bit of time here coming to the final sector. But once again, Andrew just extending that gap a little bit through the slower corners. Matty Pitt's gaining through the faster sections, but Andrew Pittsmith quicker through the slower sections.
On the last corner there was a massive moment from GGJ. I bet his heart rate's gone up about 50
I think he hit the sausage.
Yeah, he definitely got the power a little bit too early there. Got a little bit overconfident. So you do not want, if you're challenging for a win, you have to keep it calm. You have to wait till DRS is going to come into effect this straight. But you have to calm it down and get this win. So I can believe them.
I definitely think
Mark here looking at the inside of Matty Pitt in towards Brooklands, but too far back as he's just looking and thinking about it, but not actually going for it.
Marcus penalty. So that can be decisive again. Now Andrew, if I check the race director.
1.2 and then
Andrew Smith is on 1 warning and GGJ is also on 1 warning, so I think GGJ is going to be begging and just waiting on
I definitely think that GJ is getting frustrated because he can't overtake them. Even if he overtakes the Marcos, it's better overtake Matty. We definitely will get DRS soon on Andrew, which will make it harder on him. And he's using a lot of ERS as well.
And I've got a glitch where my race director is stuck on the screen, so I'm just going to rejoin immediately.
Yep. But currently, as Andrew looks like he's got the pace through the slower parts of the track. He's getting the traction out of the corners. He's absolutely leaving them through this part of the track. You can see the gap back up to 1.3 seconds. He's once again broken that DRS there to Matty Pitt, who's still coming under heavy pressure from the Mark and GGJ. And the Crest Anime is right there as well. And we know, as Max has alluded to several times, we know how quick Crest Anime is on the straight. So if he can get close to GGJ, he could potentially knock GGJ out of the position with the medium tyres on as well here. So GGJ hasn't just got to try and get ahead of these guys ahead of him. He's also got to watch out for that Alpine there of Crest Anime. But we're currently coming into Brooklands here for the 21st time in this race. We've got just over 5 laps left to go at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Andrew Pittsmith doing everything he needs to do at the moment in this final stint after we had a late safety car, or a relatively late safety car, which came in with 10 laps left to go. He's done absolutely everything perfectly since then. Matty Pitt's holding off the mark. GGJ, the championship leader, who had the pace and seemed to have everything under control, aside from safety cars, has obviously been thwarted a little bit by the timing of those safety cars, and he's currently running in 4th place right now on the fringes of a podium, but he can't make the move on the mark because the mark's too quick in a straight line, and it's got the DRS on Matty Pitt ahead of him. So there's nothing he can do. There's no way for him to turn as they're coming down the hangar straight here once again. But Matty Pitt defending the inside. The mark looking to the inside into Stowe. Goes for a little switchback, but can't make it happen.
GGJ's going to try around the outside. That's such a close move. I think he's going to send it into his
No, can't do it.
No, he cannot. He's going to stick his front wing into the corner there. He can't do anything there. Yellow flag. I think that's Mr. Basil. He's round.
Oh, GGJ with a bit of a twitch.
GGJ.
Yeah, huge
Really,
twitch.
I think he's very vulnerable there. I think his tyres maybe a little bit overheating here, especially with the sunlight we have today at Silverstone. But really frustrating. I think GGJ is desperate for this win to extend this championship lead he has, but he needs to keep it simple because even with this he'll get P2 at best. So I think he needs to calm it down, and every point matters. And I think calm it down before he makes a mistake, because if he makes a mistake,
the mark here looking to the inside, he's got the move done I think. Oh no, Matty just keeping around the outside. Oh, GGJ here looking to try and make the move here. He's going to mug the mark there in towards Luffield, and we saw that move a few laps ago from GGJ when we saw the car in front of him attacking on the driver who was ahead of him, and GGJ just capitalising on that little distraction there, obviously with the mark worrying about what's ahead of him, didn't even see what was going on behind him, and GGJ up into the podium places, can now try and attack on Matty Pitt. If he can get ahead of Matty Pitt down the hangar straight, then there would only be one car between him and this race victory. Andrew Pittsmith has got almost 2 seconds now over these guys, so GGJ needs to make this move now, I think, if he's to have any chance of winning this race. And here we go, he's got the DRS down the hangar straight, and GGJ I think is going to make the move into Stowe corner. Easy pickings there for GGJ, like Matty Pitt wasn't even there, and he's up into 2nd place, but he's got the leader Andrew Pittsmith just about a second and a half up the road at the moment. Has he got enough time to reel him in?
It's going to be really close here, and I think GGJ is going to be laughing and rubbing his hands together, licking his lips over the sight and smell of Andrew here, as he sets the fastest lap of the race by a mile. And even on these hard old wear tyres as well, this is going to be really interesting. And with 3 laps left, let's see if he can get the win.
Thing is though, Matty Pitt's still on the back of him, so Matty Pitt will have DRS and potentially still be able to put him under some pressure here as they're coming down the Wellington straight. Having said that, he does seem to have dropped off a bit. The gap's almost a second already, so I think that he's not going to have too much to worry about his GGJ from the Ferrari. But the mark's still on the fringes of a podium. Crest Anime right there on the mediums as well. As I'm just going to let you back in, Felix. There you go. Should be able to get back in there now. But yeah, Andrew Pittsmith's gap to GGJ just under a second already, so GGJ is looking to potentially take another win here this season, our championship leader, after looking to be in trouble not even a lap ago. He looked like he was in big trouble. There's Mr. Basil there, parked by the side of the road, coming out of cops, so he's made a mistake there and is being lapped by the leaders. As GGJ is currently within 0.6 of a second of your race leader Andrew Pittsmith here, coming down the hangar straight for the 23rd time in this race. You can see he's getting that closing speed, but he's not going to get there in time coming into Stowe corner. The thing about Andrew Pittsmith now, he now is probably got to accept that he's not going to outpace GGJ. He's got to think about defending this position. Has he got the straight line speed to be able to counter GGJ's DRS? GGJ with 40% of his DRS, Andrew's got 60. That could be crucial here for Andrew if he's going to defend this position. But GGJ with the fastest lap of the race by some margin, once again knocking it out of the park with these lap times. But Andrew's just got to hope that he can use his DRS to his advantage and just get good exits out of these slower corners. That is where he seems to have the pace tonight. I've noticed that Andrew's quick through these slower corners. Can he make use of that coming through these DRS zones as we're coming out of the loop once again? Let's watch on board with GGJ. You can see he's got the DRS, but he's just a little bit too far back coming into Brooklands, and Andrew will be taking solace from that and knowing he's just got to do a repeat of that another 5 times here in this race. He's just got to get through 5 more DRS zones. That's all he has to do to win this race. Can he do it? That's the question.
I think this should be easy. Look at him, he's 2 tenths behind. He's got 1 lap of fresh tyres. I don't think that'll make much of an advantage, right? 3 cops we go. Onto the straight before Maggins and Beckett. I think on this straight he has it. He's a 10th and a half behind. Swing it into the left. Don't touch the sausage curve. Onto the right. Take as much curve as you can. Onto the left. Take as much curve as you can. On the right, the same goes. Onto the hangar straight. Can he get this move? He's going to use all of his ERS. Andrew Smith.
Oh, surely he's got him. Surely this is going to be it.
Andrew's going to defend. GG goes to the left. Is he going to make it round the outside?
He does
yes,
it.
He does.
Beautifully done.
Oh, Andrew almost touched him on the back, and GGJ was a perfect move. And Andrew gets a penalty.
Oh,
He
what a
went off
shame.
the track left a little bit and gets a penalty. So GGJ is going to be cackling to himself then. And as he runs off in the lead.
Andrew Pittsmith, I've got to say, Andrew, my driver of the day here for this one, without question. You know, he's driven absolutely superbly on his reappearance here for Motive Racing's F1 League here on a Friday night. Hasn't raced here for some time, as I said, but the battle's still going on behind him for third place. But Andrew here, I think we can safely say, has got second in the bag. As we can see here, Crescent still trying to pressure the back of the mark right on the back of Matty Pitt. Polish My Balls has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. What's he doing in the pits at this stage in the race? Only he knows. Only him and his team and his legion of fans know the answer to that one. But currently we've still got Matty Pitt here with the mark on the back of him as the mark goes a bit wide there coming through Luffield. But this battle for third place, I think it's going to go down to the wire here. But GGJ, what a performance from him. He looked like he was up against it, but he's managed to navigate his way through every single obstacle that's sort of found its way in his path, and he's just gone, no, you know what, you're not going to stop me, you're not going to stop me, and you're not going to stop me. I'm going to do what I want to do, which is win this race, which he's currently looking set to do as Polish My Balls there spins it coming out of the pits, which is not what he would have been wanting, I'm sure, just there.
Really quickly, side note, Totally Zero and yeah, Totally Zero. If you look at his tyres are very, very worn if you go on board with him. And that grain just signifies how worn his tyres are. So I think if anyone would have got in the front runners, if anyone went with his tyres out, would have killed their race really. As GGJ goes 5/10 quicker on the fastest lap of 30.6. That is outrageous pace. And he's already 2 seconds ahead. This just give a championship to him now, really. This is
oh, Crescent lost it in the background. He drops it coming through coming through turn 2, so he's onto the grass there and loses out. So Totally 0K up into P5. But yeah, Totally 0K, he's done 10 laps on his soft tyres. I was thinking maybe 9 laps might be alright. You know, 8 or 9 laps might get there. But yeah, 10 laps, I think he's really pushed his luck a little bit much there. He's certainly gone overboard. But the battle for the podium spot is still going on here between Matty Pitt and the Marcus. These two coming through Luffield for the final time. And this one I think is going to go down to the final few corners here. There's one DRS zone here for the Mark to have a crack at Matty Pitt, but he needs to get a good run out of Chapel Curve. If he can do that, he might have a chance coming into Stowe Corner at the end of the Hanger Straight. As here we come out of Cops, and you can see there he's having a look here to the outside. It'd be a fool to go for a move there. You want to just wait for your chance here out of Chapel.
If he was to get ahead now, he would have given DRS to Matty Pitt.
Exactly, yeah.
Onto Hanger Straight, he's going to have all the DRS. He's going to use all the DRS at his disposal. Matty Pitt is going to go to the left, he's going to go to the middle of the track. Which way is
he leaves the door open, he leaves the door open.
He's going to go to the right, down the inside. Is he going to send it? Yes, he will. No, he won't, because Matty Pitt breaks a little bit later.
Oh.
That's going to sacrifice his line, though, as Mark on the outside into Vale Chicane. Who's going to be
He's going to do it around the outside. Oh.
It's going to be Mark. But who's
great
going to
move.
be first?
GGJ takes the win. Andrew Pittsmith second. The Mark, I think, has done it. What a move around the outside of Vale. He gets the podium place. Well done, the Mark. Great driving from both of them, to be fair. Matty for giving him the space, but the Mark pulling off a great manoeuvre there to take a podium on the final corner of the final lap. Totally 0K takes P5 ahead of Crest Anime, who comes over in P6. A disappointing last couple of laps there for Crest Anime, but takes P5 on the penalties, with Totally 0K having a substantial number of time penalties there. In other news, Polish My Balls is still going. The Mutsnuts' AI is also still going, and Mike, I think that might be his AI in the car as well, possibly. I'm not sure. But yeah, what a race that was. And I tell you what, the Mark there pulling off a great manoeuvre to take third place. Really hats off to him. It was a brave move, but obviously he had the confidence that Matty was going to give him the space, and he did indeed. So yeah, what can you say? Great stuff from those guys.
Yeah, what a display that was given to us tonight, and I think definitely the sprint race set the scene for the main race tonight, and we were given that. GGJ started first, pitted, was it P9 I think it was, as it clouded his way through a field to come out first, and personally I think that's my drive for the day. And yeah, I'm still just in awe of this guy's pace, and yeah, definitely something special.
Yeah, not to break the spirit after the fight with Mark and Matthew, but if we look on paper and on track, he beat Matty both ways, because Matty has 6 penalties and Mark had 3. Was still a very good fight, and I would give driver of the day to Andrew, because in the sprint he went from 8th to maybe someplace in 10th or 9th to P3, I think. So,
yeah, I've got to agree. Andrew Pittsmith for driver of the day. On his return as well, but we expect these kind of performances from GGJ, but Andrew's done absolutely superbly. Stepped up to the plate really well. I think he must love Silverstone, and he's shown that he's got the pace to fight, but yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to get to GGJ's level for all of these guys. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Thanks to both Max and Felix for jumping in on the comms tonight. It was enjoyable to have 3 of us rather than 2, although it's I sometimes feel like we're drowning you out a little bit, or drowning each other out, all of us. But yeah, no, it's been good. But thanks everybody. As always, like and subscribe if you want to get involved, and go to www.motiveracing.com, because we have got spaces, as you can see. Clean race. If you're a clean racer, you're a fair racer, and you enjoy the sort of action that you've seen, definitely come along. But from all of us here at Motive, it's a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good evening.
goodbye.